Yokoso! Welcome back to PJL's A to Z of Japan. Today we are at the letter B, and today's B is for bullying. In 2006, 14 Japanese children from elementary school, 18 from junior high school, and 220 in senior high school had similar problems. They were being bullied. They also all sought the same solution: suicide. Japan's relationship with taking one's own life doesn't really need telling by me, and I don't want to make out as if a huge proportion of bullied children take their own lives as a result of being bullied. The same year pulled these numbers from about 30,000 report cases of bullying. But still, one suicide is one too many. And even if that single child's feeling of being cornered into that one last act indicates a tragic failing of the system, so what does several hundred have to say? I mean, yes, this statistic's from 2006, but it hasn't changed much over the years. Now, this isn't to diminish the suffering of the thousands of other students who endure it, however. So, what is it about Japan that makes bullying so bad that it drives students to that extreme? For that, you have to look at the culture. Japan is a group-oriented country. The way we Westerners value our individuality and self-expression is the same way a Japanese values their acceptance into the group. Now, think back to some of your own bullying experiences as a kid, whether as the victim, as a bystander, or even if you were the perpetrator. Why did the bullying take place? Now, usually it's because of the unknown. The victim student may have been different, or liked or disliked, something that the bully disliked or liked. The bully sees this as a threat to his or her validation. How can this person be different to me and still be accepted? And so comes the bullying, either psychologically or physically, as a result of this insecurity. Now, here's where the difference comes in. In the West, the bully is absolutely in the wrong. Of course they are. We value individuals, so that bully needs to back off and let that poor kid be whoever they want to be. But in Japan, things get a little bit blurry. You see, the group is always right, even if it's wrong. A consensus rules over all. If you have a student being bullied, they really are going to be standing alone. All too often, it is the victim of bullying who is seen as being at fault for failing to meld with the group. I mean, there's usually a ringleader bully who will instigate this, pointing out the victim's flaws or just neutral differences, to which the rest of the class will either agree or just be indifferent to, following the flow of the group's consensus. Now, here's the game changer, and I am still focusing on bullying in school here. Even the teachers partake in this, sometimes. I personally have seen this happen, and it is genuinely horrifying to feel a whole class's chagrin round on one child like that for little or no reason than being different. Some of the bullying techniques can seem quite tame or even immature to the untrained eye, like drawing an animal's face on the blackboard and then putting the bullied student's name next to it. But there are layers of deeper mental bullying going on at the same time there. And besides, when nobody stands up for you, not even adults, then even the most childish of insults can cut deep. So, not only do you have victims who are immediately at a disadvantage from the get-go because of little or no support, but you also have cowardly teachers who have also been ingrained with the values of group harmony and will never act on the blatant displays of bullying before them. Now, don't get me wrong, I have seen a great many teachers who they see bullying for what it is, and they do try to act, but they too are stifled by a board of education who wish to present a pristine image to the public so more people will desire to live in the catchment area, work and spend money there. Schools who have lost students to suicides have, in the past, outright denied them as suicides for that reason. Or they may simply be scared of the bully themselves and lack the resources or training to deal with it. So they will stand in class and laugh either earnestly at a bullied student or nervously for wishing to keep the peace, or just shrugging it off as being childish joking around. But slowly but surely, attitudes are changing. Bullying, or ijime as it's called in Japan, is starting to be taken more seriously finally, and it is being tolerated less and less. The trial of the basketball coach from a few years ago was surprisingly high profile, and walking around a typical school these days, you will see many posters condemning ijime, giving bold claims like "never permitted, not forgotten." Students will have entire lessons on morality during homeroom classes, and they will talk openly about how the classes were today, giving students a platform to air their concerns. Now, the ijime stats in recent years have ballooned, but genuinely I feel that's largely down to more effective reporting of these instances as opposed to being unreported. Bullying will never go away in Japan or any other country, but there are some aspects of bullying in Japan that are simply not acceptable, especially when children's well-being and lives are being threatened. Japan is glacial when it comes to change, usually, but in this aspect, it absolutely must change fast. And that's it for today's A to Z of Japan. Thank you very much for listening, readers. The written version of this little blog post here is on my A to Z of Japan blog, which I recently rebranded actually. It's now called Let's Japan, so please do check out the link and have a look at my new look blog, along with all the links to my other websites and my Patreon as well. Please have a look when you can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.